Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here, and this is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast, the only show that brings you the latest scoop on everything basketball here in the Philippines. Whether you're a diehard fan, a casual observer, or just looking for some good old-fashioned hoop talk, you've come to the right place. So whether you're a fan of the PBA, the UAAP, the NCAA, Gilas, or any other league in the Philippines, we've got you covered. And if you're just discovering the exciting world of Philippine basketball, we're here to guide you through every dunk, crossover, three-pointer, and controversial college transfer. So get ready to be entertained, informed, and inspired as we delve into the world of Philippine basketball. This is the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. Let's talk some hoops. Hey guys, Enzo Flojo here. In this episode, we'll talk about the preliminary roster announced for our three-peat seeking Gilas Women for the 2023 Southeast Asian Games that are going to be held, or that are actually being held already in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Of course, the opening game for the basketball tournament for 5x5 is going to be on May 10, so that's next week as of this recording. As always, we're going to look at some of the comments and reactions from the fans. All right, so for the past few episodes, we've been focusing on Gilas Men, the makeup of the probable final roster, the opponents they're probably going to face over there in Cambodia. But for today and for our next episode, we'll focus squarely on Gilas Women. And if the stars align, we might have our very first guest or interview in the podcast as well. For now, let us take a look at the final 12 so far that's been released. Well, it's not final yet because there's going to be a technical committee meeting, I believe, on May 7. So that's a few days from now. And that's when any last-minute changes can still take place. But looking at the names you see on screen, looking at the 12 names here, I think this is probably as good as it might get for the Philippines in the coming Southeast Asian Games. Let's go through the names one by one. These guys, of course, or these amazing ladies, of course, are the cream of the crop when it comes to women basketball here in the country. You have Jack Animam, April Bernardino, Janine Pontejos, Claire Castro, Kate Castillo, Camille Clarin, Kat Goitinco or Trina Goitinco, Ella Fajardo, Franz Mekabinbin, Stephanie Berberabe, Andrea Tonko, and Angel Sorada. A good number of these ladies, of course, have already been under Coach Pat Aquino for several years, whether as part of the NU Lady Bulldogs team or as part of different iterations of the Gilas Women's National Team. And most of them, I think, maybe with the exception only of Jack, were part of the team that bagged the gold medal in 2022 last year in Vietnam. And Jack's back. The audition, or the girl, or the Gilas woman player who was there last year but is not here, I think is Gabby Bade. I think the Filipino-American Gilas women player is unavailable. I think she's still in the States, if I'm not mistaken. But I think we're still going to be in a pretty good position, very good position, in fact. And I dare say we might even be a bit stronger. Certainly going to be a lot bigger because we have Jack down there in the middle, finally manning the paint, fully healthy, unlike last year when she was injured. So I think if you're going to imagine the opponents of Gilas Women, they're probably getting a little tense and stressed because they know that this team is going to be a bit more experienced, definitely a lot bigger, and probably a lot deeper as well than the team that won gold medal last year. So right now, we're going to read some snippets from an article written about specifically this Gilas Women national team. This was written by one of the pillars of sports journalism in the Philippines, Sir Sid Ventura. Okay? So last year, when Gilas Women repeated as Southeast Asian Games champions in 5x5, one key player could only watch from the sidelines, and that player, of course, was center Jack Animam, arguably the best Filipino women's player of the past decade. She watched from the sidelines because she tore her ACL while playing as an import in Europe, and because of that, she could not see action. She was relegated to being a cheerleader for the team and to simply watch them as they successfully defended the gold medal last year, almost sweeping the entire field. The only loss for Gilas Women last year was in their last game against Malaysia. It was somewhat of an inconsequential loss for Gilas because they had already been assured of the gold medal before that game against Malaysia, but Malaysia needed that win to actually win bronze medal last year. Now, interesting what Jack actually says here. She says, to be honest, I'm nervous. Kasi last year, wala ako. So parang sarili ko, I feel like I missed a lot. And the feeling that they went through a battle na wala man ako doon, even if I was on the bench. It was hard on my part. Every time I watched their games, I wished I was there. Well, now, she's there. There's a bit of pressure there, as she says right here. But, you know, for these amazing Gilas women, I'm sure they're kind of used to that pressure already. It's going to be a lot bigger now because it's year 3. They will be gunning for an unprecedented three-peat in the Southeast Asian Games, at least unprecedented for the Philippines right now. So moving forward right now, I want to look at the record that we actually have when it comes to the SEA Games. All right? So overall, in 20 editions of the Southeast Asian Games, the winningest team in terms of women's 5-on-5 basketball has been Malaysia with 13 golds, 1 silver, 5 bronze medals. They've been on the podium 19 out of 20 times in the Southeast Asian Games. Next to them is Thailand with 16 medals total, 5 gold, 9 silver, 2 bronze, and then you have the Philippines, of course, with 2 golds. Those 2 golds coming in the last 2 editions in 2019 and last year in 2022. 6 silvers, 5 bronze medals for a total of 13. Indonesia has never won gold. They have 8 total. Singapore has never won gold also. They have 4 medals in total. So if we win this year, that will be gold medal number 3 for the Philippines. And again, that will be an unprecedented three-peat for Gilas women as far as the Southeast Asian Games are concerned. Okay, now last year, like I said earlier, we almost swept the field. In 5 games, we won 4. We beat Indonesia, Thailand, the home team Vietnam, featuring the Trong sisters who play for Gonzaga in US NCAA Division 1. I'm going to talk about them in our next episode. And we also beat Singapore quite handily, Singapore finishing without a win last year. Now, we can expect that all these opponents will probably be even stronger, more stacked. Cambodia is going to have a team, obviously. But our team is going to be even stronger as well. We went 4-1 last year. We could have swept it. I think we have just as strong a chance to sweep it again this year as well. Knock on wood. I hope I didn't jinx our Gilas women's team. But we're definitely the favorites. And like most Filipinos, like all Filipinos, I'm hoping we actually get a three-peat. Now, as of this recording, Thursday, last night, on CNN Sports Desk, Coach Pat Aquino, Ella Fajardo, and Jack Animam actually appeared on television to talk about their campaign together with Andre Felix. And Coach Pat Aquino, of course, optimistic, but also realistic, downplaying their chances. He knows that compared to last year, at least, they're more complete now as a team, especially with Jack back on the roster. But he also is aware of the fact that there's a much bigger target on the back of Gilas women because, again, we are back-to-back defending champions. We have, I think, the tallest and I would say the deepest roster from the first to the 12th lady on the team. And I think that creates a lot of pressure. And again, it puts a big target on our back as the three-peat seeking defending champions. In fact, in this interview, I think even Coach Pat, Jack, and Ella kind of talked about how sometimes they didn't really frame it as a weakness, but they talked about how sometimes they kind of over rely on Jack. No? Now that Jack's there, she's going to be commanding the interior and protecting the rim and expected to really carry the load of the team, especially in terms of interior play. Sometimes they kind of over rely on her. And I'm sure Coach Pat Aquino, being the champion coach he is, does not want to see that in the SEAG Games. Okay, he knows his team has so many weapons, inside, outside, whether they're guards, wingmen, or bigs. They can attack and hurt the opponent in so many ways. So over relying on Jack would be a potential weakness. In fact, for me, objectively, that may be the only potential weakness of this team, unless of course we shoot really badly from the perimeter, because that's one of our strengths. Okay, so we have the best inside operator in all of Southeast Asia for the women's game, I think, in Jack Animan. And then we have really good outside shooting, and so that's a very deadly combination for our team. But if we over rely on Jack, or if our outside shooting gets cold, then that's when an opening can be exploited by the other teams, I think. All right, so let's look at some fan reactions now. Last week, I posted this poll on Twitter. Given our Gilas Women's current pool in preparations, do you think they have a high chance of getting a gold medal three-peat in the SEA Games? And not surprisingly, 86%. I actually expected it to be a little bit higher, but I guess some people just didn't really want to underestimate our opponents. 86% yes. Laban Filipinas, we have a very good chance or good shot of getting the gold medal. Now, here are some fan reactions. Okay. This one is from Angela Coro. She says, "Buti pa Gilas Women's team. Kahit paano mas earlier pa sila nag-practice with 17 players, while Gilas Men barely has 12 players until last week. They have a title to defend. Yung mga Menchu, I guess the men's team, they have a crown to redeem or reclaim. Pero yung coach kong umasta as if hindi siya natalo last time." Well, I know that a lot of people feel very strongly about our Gilas men's team and the constraints they have. But remember, the constraints or the context of our Gilas men's team is different from the context of our Gilas women's team. Okay? In a way, not having a pro league for women in the Philippines kind of frees them up to focus on the national team. Okay? On the other side, of course, having so many professional commitments, whether local or abroad, it's hampered our national program with respect to the SEA Games. Okay. Now, most of the other comments are vastly positive. Now, mostly good luck, welcome back, Jack. Good luck. I'm not sure what this never mind is or this hindi means, but I think most Pinoy basketball fans are really upbeat about our chances to win at least this edition of the SEA Games for Gilas Women in Cambodia. All right. Now, again, our team is more complete now, but that does not mean the mission gets any easier. I'm sure Coach Pat, all his assistant coaches, all the trainers, and every single member of the team that will fly out to Cambodia, they all are aware of that reality. The competition is going to be tougher, and the target on our back has gotten much bigger. They will not underestimate any opponent. I'm sure of that, knowing Coach Pat and knowing some of these ladies. And as fans, our responsibility, so to speak, is to continue supporting them every step of the way. The expectations for Gilas Women are sky high. That creates a lot of pressure on the team. Okay, I have faith that they will overcome that pressure, but it's not going to be easy. If we win the three-peat, I hope it sets a stronger foundation for grassroots women's basketball development in our country. Maybe a national age group tournament for our country that's more exposed, more hyped up, more well marketed, more exposure for our ladies, and hopefully in the years to come, a legitimate high-profile pro league for our women ballers. If you like this topic, then you should like our future topics and discussions as well. As always, We will spotlight your comments, your insights, because we value what you guys think. Our next episode drops tomorrow. For that episode, we're going to talk about the top contenders for that gold medal that our Gilas Women's team are preparing for. Ang mga makakalaban nilang bigatin in the SEA Games. Okay? So until our next episode, goodbye guys, take care. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball. Mabuhay tayong lahat. Again, thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Mabuhay Basketball Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed creating it. So don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave a comment because we love that engagement. And who knows, maybe your comment might be featured next. You can also read my stuff on clutchpoints.com, Tiebreaker Times, and of course, FIBA.basketball. Follow me on Twitter at Hoopnut or Instagram at TheHoopnut for more content and updates. Until next time, keep betting on yourself, shooting your shot, and seizing the moment. Mabuhay ang Philippine basketball.